Number one question I get is, how do you do so much? How do you manage so much? Get emails that are like, hey, how do you have so many businesses and how do you stay on top of it all? You must work. You must never sleep. And here's the truth. I sleep a lot. I sleep 8 hours every night. I take a nap every day. And we still get a lot done. And I'm going to tell you how I do it and why I do it that way. But first, if you go to velocitycall.com/course, before I forget, today only it is discounted because it launches live tomorrow. So if you're watching the replay, you might not have this benefit anymore. But today is March 14th. There goes the evergreen nature of this video. Today's March 14th, and there's a link somewhere. If you're watching, if you could type it in there for me, that'd be awesome. velocitycall.com/course. It breaks down how we get so much done, how we move forward, how we have all these different businesses, and I still get to take naps every day, right? Because people come to me and they're already making high 6, 7, sometimes 8 figures, but they're burnout. They feel like they're spinning their wheels. There's so many things going on, and they see that we manage all these things really, really well, or it would appear that we do, right? And here's why. We call it our velocity framework. We actually just finally put it together. My unicorn of a CEO, COO put together the velocity framework. And here's the crux of it. There's what I think I'm going to do. Think about when you start a diet, right? You're like, this is what I'm going to do. And for like 3 days you do it, then you fall off the wagon. Because on paper, things look good. But if we ignore human behavior, right? And this is something we learned with a lot of experience in cognitive behavior therapy. If you ignore actual human behavior, you're going to keep coming up with these plans that look really good on paper, but never actually come to fruition in real life. Things happen, right? And so the balance is in business and life and nutrition in anything. It's not here is what is perfect on paper. It is here is the best I can actually do in the real world, right? It's not, you know, in a real world, I'd only eat chicken, rice, and salad. If I'm not going to actually do that, that is not the best method for me. And business is the same way. There's added complexities in like, what will I actually do? What will my business partner actually do? What will my employees actually do? And when you start measuring, okay, in theory, Lisa, what's up? If I said, Lisa, this is what needs to get done. This is high leverage. You identify the high leverage activities. What can you do? What can I do? What can Dan do? What can Monica do? What can Vita do, right? So this is how we assume we're going to operate next week. And then we go through the week and we come back and look at what we actually got done. There's always a discrepancy. And then we start examining, why was there a discrepancy, right? And what happens as an organization, we start learning not what looks perfect in a perfect world, like if we lived in a vacuum, what would I get done? We actually start making decisions based on what we know as individuals and as a team we can actually get done. And so every single week we set these high leverage tasks, task them out, and they get done without fail. Because we use theory, we use what looks good on paper, and then we use the science of hindsight. This is what should happen next week. This is what actually happened. Why? Why the discrepancy? So then we fix the things that actually happened, but we also adjust our theories over what we're going to get done. And what happens is this gap, this intention intervention gap between what we know we should be doing or think we should be doing and what we're actually doing every day, every week, every month, every year shrinks. And when that happens, you can grow at an exponential rate. You don't waste any energy at all. Maximum productivity, maximum profit, because there's no waste, right? So this is what we should, in theory, get done based on our current mental models, you know, which who knows where they came from. And then here's our plan. Here's what happened in the real world. Now, using the science of hindsight, not foresight, which is entirely inaccurate, using the science of hindsight, we say, okay, this is what actually happened. Why did this happen instead of this? We eliminate whatever barriers we can, and then we adjust our mental models. And every week, we eliminate barrier, adjust the mental model, eliminate barrier, adjust mental model. So if you have marketing issues, the velocity framework will get you over them. If you have operational issues, the velocity framework will get you over them, right? if you have hiring, firing, partnership issues, productivity issues, margin issues with your margins, with your supply chain, with your suppliers, this is the framework that shows you how to sit down, figure out how to solve the problem, come up with a plan, dial that plan in, execute it, move on. Right? This is the leap from high 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. And if you go to velocitycall.com/course, it's on sale right now. So the page is going to say $997, but if you get in today, it's going to say $397 when you check out. You only get charged $397. Now, if you're seeing a replay at $997, it's still a steal of a deal, because this is everything we build our business around, from marketing, sales, onboarding, operations, finances, hiring, firing, growth, scale, decision-making, everything. So check it out and just understand that, like, no matter what, if you don't bridge this gap between what you expect, next week I'm going to do X, Y, Z. At some point you have to realize you're only doing X and Y. And if you account for that in the beginning, okay, you're going to start getting more done. You're going to start trusting yourself more. You're going to make plans that are more realistic that you can stick to. And when you do that and you have that trust with yourself and that consistency, you can dominate anything. And that's what we do. That's what we did in nutrition. That's what we did in fitness. That's what we did in sports. And now it's what we do in business. So